first picked,
got.
yeah, quite a lot, and they've removed now Tarek from CLG.
So 2 80 carry compositions trying to be thwarted with these bans. You see the Tarek there? The Misfortune coming out. Kale wasn't used to the greatest effect yesterday, but the possibilities that she can create during that good game is definitely something that CLG does not want to see here. They've banned it out.
And the really important thing, though, is we see now Voyboy on Olaf. And that is something, honestly, that is super scary. CLG knew that was a very likely first pick going into this one. They said, you know what? We're going to ban Kale, Cat, and Misfortune. Those are our bans. We're going to move on from there. So, I mean, right now, they've got to say that Hotshot needs to feel confident 1v1ing Olaf here, because Olaf's a great 1 versus 2. Voyboy in general will just 1v2 and win people, like win against people just in the game overall. So, I'm very interested to see what comes out here.
We'll have to see. I'm interested to see if Challenger has, expanded into Jarvan in the jungle, because a lot of people said when Olaf comes back, Jarvan's going to come back too, because it's really the only ultimate that he can't get out of. So
exactly.
We'll have to see what Voyboy has done for homework there. The Caitlyn Nunu, Taster's Choice pickup, so they're going to be going with that.
This makes a lot of sense, really, because Nunu was banned against CLG twice before. This is the first time it's let through, and they immediately go for it. So it's interesting that Curse is more worried about Tarek than they are about Nunu. And Doublelift, really, he's known for 2 champions, and that's Caitlyn and Vayne. These are his, big old-school comfort picks. Kate Nunu is a great lane overall. You can 2v1, you can 2v2, you'll win most of those.
St. Vicious again picking up that Xin Zhao pick. He was very aggressive yesterday, initiating time after time again onto Skara's Gragas. They finally found the fight, which we saw within the replays, where they completely took out Dignitas in front of that Baron. He's been very, very aggressive since Udyr in the jungle, so Xin just fits his play style. This
is a really good pickup for him. And the Sona grab as well, I like quite a lot. She's really malleable. You can really much do anything you want with Sona. She's good at late game roaming around the map with the Song of Celerity. You have really good crowd control for your team, which, when you grab Xin Zhao, you've got a knockback, but you don't really lock up a lot of people for a while, nor does Olaf. So they've really grabbed some crowd control in this team to follow up from the Xin Zhao initiate. I like that pickup a lot. Works with pretty much all the lanes. And if you do go heads up against Nunu Caitlyn, Sona is probably the best single lane to throw up against Nunu as well.
Yeah, it's going to be good for the sustain, for the poke that they can bring to you. Kind of just wait it out until that late. We see Cho'Gath being picked up, and it is going to be a Lee Sin in the jungle here, possibly, if Link hasn't learned that in mid.
And what I really like as well is that this is a CLG, just like we saw in their match against TSM, taking about 5 seconds to grab their champions. Right? When the bans came out, they said, yep, they're going to grab Olaf, let's go Nunu Caitlyn. And the thing to really think about this as well, to take a step back and think about the game, generally speaking, bruisers try to fight the AD carries, and that's kind of a duel in its own right when you get to mid-late game team fights. And a blood-boiled Caitlyn wins duels against most bruisers, and so Voyboy's going to run at him, and a blood-boiled Doublelift will probably win that fight. So they almost negate part of that power from Olaf just because he'll be able to be killed.
Wow. Yeah.
That's I feel like Doublelift will be able to kill him in a late game fight, and that's really important.
We'll have to see if they can bring that to fruition here. It looks like we haven't seen any Orianna after being used for a heavy amount of time in any protect the what you need to protect comp. And it looks like she's going to be brought back, and why not on Nijaki, one of his most formidable mids. So this should be awesome to watch.
He's amazing at Skillshot Champion. He's mechanically a superstar. And what I really, really love about this Kog'Maw pickup is they've analyzed the CLG lineup. Cho'Gath and Nunu, they're not able to easily participate in assassination, right? They don't get in there and drop down an unsafe AD carry. So by picking up Kog'Maw, CLG does not have a way of easily removing him from the fight. So Kog is safe here. And we talked about Nunu Kate being a great late game pick where you can kill off Olaf, and that's really, really useful. But they don't have a way to get rid of Kog'Maw, and Kog'Maw can pretty much out-damage Kate Nunu. So to me, this feels like an adaptation for Curse, where they said, yep, okay, our AD carry is going to be safe. Let's pick the least safe, highest damaging AD carry, and let's eviscerate people.
And I like the Anivia pickup here. They're pretty much saying, all right, yeah, Voyboy can run through, but he's going to be the only one.
Yeah, I mean, Saint and Voy are going to go in there, and they'll be supported by Orianna. And honestly, there's a pretty good dive team here for Curse. However, they could also play defense. They could also play counter engage. Voy can deal with whatever bruiser runs in there. You know, if Chouster tries to mess with people, Voy can just start dealing the damage there. And really, CLG, this is a defensive lineup. They've now grabbed the Nivea here. They've got again, that Ice Blast. They've got the big silence from Cho'Gath. This is pretty much a team that is setting up for double lift. There was not an all-star on this lineup that isn't double lift right now.
You know, they have a Kog'Maw for late game, but that's what CLG is saying too. They say we have siege clear, we'll sit at our turret the entire time, and then we'll bring the fight to you. You're exactly right.
And I'm curious to see how it plays out, because that's really the tale of this game right here. Is just repeating myself though, but CLG, they don't have these ridiculous damage threats. Like Chowster will be tanky, he'll be useful.
Right.
Hotshot GG on Cho'Gath will be tanky and useful. Link will put out good damage on Anivia, but you don't have a Xin Zhao or an Olaf. Those are different classes of champions here. Olaf and Xin Zhao are big damage threats. They're tanky, they're initiators, that's fine, but they kill things for a living, and you don't have that here on most of that CLG lineup. And so I'm curious to see how Caitlyn survives against Olaf, Xin Zhao, and Orianna together, because they can all participate. And when you've thrown those three together, now Caitlyn is a little unsafe. She can 1v1 Olaf, but you can't 1v3 that. And then Kog'Maw, comp should be untouched, but we'll see what happens.
So I do like the Lee Sin pickup. However, I just kind of want to poke at that. Could that be a Jarvan? Can Jarvan fit that same aspect, that same peel that Lee Sin can give to Caitlyn during this lineup?
Certainly, absolutely. Jarvan and Lee Sin really both can fill that same sort of role, where Jarvan could lock up Voyboy, could lock up Saint, let Doublelift get out of there. Because I mean, once Jarvan ults, Doublelift can shoot a Caliber net out there, hop out of the Cataclysm, has kind of disengage for himself. That's a possibility here. Of course, Jarvan again not in this roster. So right off the bat, Curse looking aggressive. They're all five going together. They're going to look for somewhere to pick a fight.
And it looks like they're going somewhat aggressive just for a quick ward placement. They keep all five together for the safety in this one. They have been seen, so if anything is going to happen, it's going to be on a late invade here, Freak.
That was a smart ward by Afro. He actually just barely put it up at the mouth of the river. I wanted to make sure he didn't get spotted out, because they were looking to kill Afro on a ward. They were looking to try to pick him up. If he went for a ward there, St. Vigil could have dove in there, Jackie could have put up some damage, Voibo could have landed an axe. They would have at least burned a flash, but that ended up not being the situation. Very safe ward placement for Afro, and now CLG defensive. They're starting their jungle just defensively here.
And it looks like there will be... Yes, there will be a lane swap coming in. I actually thought for a second that with the lineup CLG was choosing, if they chose to go with another AD in mid, that they were going to put Doublelift and Aframu mid and leave those AD and Hotshot to 2v1 in the top and bottom lane. But I guess they have not, and it looks like they're going to just go for the regular swap. It's not being called on by Curse, so let's look at that swap lane since we're not going to get too much of an invasion. It's going to be Doublelift and Aframu on Caitlyn and Nunu versus Voyboy's Olaf, and then Hotshot GG is going to have to go to a poke sustain lane of Cop and Elements on Kog'Maw and Sona.
So the interesting thing here is that Kate Nunu will be able to outpush Sona Kog'Maw. So in terms of turrets going down, this is a better setup for Counter Logic Gaming. And as far as 2 versus 1 champions, right? We talked about Olaf being a really, really good 1 versus 2, and I thought that Hotshot might have to play him straight up 1v1, but giving him someone like Cho'Gath is very successful in 1-on-2 matchups as well. We actually saw him do that yesterday, so this is actually going to be really both these 1v2s very safe. And Voi's actually been given the Golem buff as well at level 1. Jackie helped him out there, so he's going to get back to base, buy some potions, teleport back top, and then try to survive that lane.
I like the strat there. It's actually something they used to do. I remember when Voiboy played for CLG as well. When they swapped the lanes, they'd give him blue on the bottom, and they'd let him run Olaf down in the bottom lane in their own lane swap. So this will be pretty cool to see how he fares with it. Up in that top lane, as we've said, he's now, gates open, Voiboy back in aggressive mode. So with that blue buff, he is going to be able to counteract that 2v1 situation. Now we see Orianna versus Anivia in mid. Nijaki on one of his favorites versus Link. And Link's been playing, as they said, very consistent.
Really nice pressure, though, from Link. Actually put quite a bit of damage there, but Saint is looking for a gank here. And Anivia's not the safest mid laner. Look at this damage output.
Right under the turret. They may get her to go into Rebirth. They do not, though. So a little bit of pressure there. And Saint returns to the jungle. But
they've already burned his flash. And Nivea is one of the slowest, literally like the slowest champion in the game, tied for that rank of slowest champion. And it's hard to get that stun out on Xin Zhao easily, so you're going to see him kind of just come back and really make Link's life difficult here.
And that's what Saint does, right? He helps Nijaki. He focuses mid. They kind of had that quick bond between the first 5 minutes of the game. We saw it against Skara yesterday. They were able to get first blood on him. We'll probably see Saint back in mid within just a few minutes' time.
It's really the place to watch. I mean, they're going to push towards Hotshot's turret right now, and that gives them the opportunity to 3 versus 1 dive, but really, good luck ganking Nunu Kate. It's an Ice Blast against 2 melee champions. Like, it's not a likely gank scenario, so I think CLG can recklessly push here, go for the damage in the turret, put some damage into Voyboy, and the only place that Saint can really look, And of course, I tell a lie, Saint's actually going for a gank top.
Yeah, he was actually looking for that mid. They had the pings down, but they pinged him out. Double lift playing a little different now. Aphromu's probably going to take a bit of damage here. He's getting closed in by Nijaki from down in the mid lane as well. Going to be forced to flash here, but will he have enough time? Do they decide to pursue over the wall? They do not have vision over there yet. They blindly go in. St. Vicious gets first blood for his second game in a row for his team. He may go down in the attempt, though, and it is going to be a 1-for-1 quick. A great flash by Chowster. Gets himself out, but Voyboy still in pursuit. Picks up the undertow, decides to turn tail, and he makes his way out. Link coming in from mid, though, however. These guys are trying to roam everywhere to get these kills, and they are going to have to back off after this single 1-for-1.
Now, what a great gank overall. The difficulty being that I believe they traded out his red buff, though. So that's a little bit Chowster, a refreshed red buff here. But First Blood Gold is really, really awesome. So we'll see how that pans out. What I'm kind of curious to see, though, is how this manifests. The very first game for Curse, Saint got First Blood and really snowballed ahead as a gigantic tank who could just dive turrets, start fights, and really does not care about what was thrown at him. But you've got Chowster in the same situation. They've both got their first kills for the team. So I want to see who really makes the big plays here, because they'll both be ahead of the curve.
Well, this is really going to help CLG a lot, because they got 2 assists on that for both Double Lift and
Boy's
coming in.
Bad spot here.
Boy looking very bad in this spot. He is just going to try to back it out. He knows he's down, and he's just, oh no, he actually teleports out. I did not realize he had that at first. Forgot it comes up as the same color.
Yeah, he teleported out, or he actually ran to the top lane instead of teleporting at the very beginning of that one. And then he kind of read that situation very, very well, knew he wasn't going to be in a good situation, and teleported from the brush. Really smart move.
That's what happens when you're like, yeah, there's no crowd control. See you later, guys.
Exactly. That's one of the minor weaknesses you occasionally see. It's hard to be like, well, we got to make sure we pick a crowd control at level 2 champion. And, you know, so they managed to recover pretty well. Good job by Voyboy to realize that. And now we'll see where the pressure comes back again. I still expect Link to be under fire. He's got another 70 seconds on his flash, so that's going to be important.
Yeah, you did say Link being under fire. We see Nijaki putting that forward ward up. He can play aggressive, and as you said that, Saint just kind of trails into the lane to show his aggression. That flash still down for Link. We're going to have to see if they try to pressure that soon.
Okay, so let's take stock of these 2v1 lanes. We've been watching Voyboy a heck of a lot. Hotshot, really, he's doing okay. You can see 20 to 28 in minion kills right here, so he's doing a little bit worse than Voy. But I want to point out that Kog'Maw has been given free farm. He's at 48 minions. Cop is going to be a huge threat. He's really one of the 2 stories of this Curse lineup, is that Cop can eviscerate things by himself. He's going to have really, really great damage being Kog'Maw. And then on the other side, of course, they have Assassination there with Voy and St. Vicious diving in.
So the gold very close, and both teams have just been at each other's necks in the beginning. Great mechanics here from Double Lift coming in, getting every shot he can onto Voyboy for that harass, making him chug away those potions. Cop, his lane getting pushed back out here by Hotshot in the bottom lane. Those 34 to 26 in minion kills between those two, so both are doing quite well for themselves here. Hotshot has chosen to go for a little bit more just quick regeneration in the lane, as Voyboy is already trying to sustain up. Or not sustain up, but get himself tankier with that Ruby Crystal. And
what I really like about what's happened here is look at this health bar on CLG's turret. It's really, really, really low. That I said Sonakog would not push well. And 7 minutes is not the earliest turret really we've seen from a 2-on-1. However, because they gave Voyboy blue buff on Olaf, there's been almost no pressure on his turret. Look how healthy that thing is. Now that blue buff's timed out, they're finally getting some damage, but he's been maxing undertow, lobbing those axes down there, and keeping his turret alive, which is really, really vital for them.
And you know, this is the first time that Chowster has been able to make his way to that bottom lane as well. I poked at Freak that Voyboy able to play aggressive, pulls the jungler away from helping his team, and that's where you've seen the focus. Chowster was just been in the top lane, but he hasn't really been able to aggress in the top lane. It's just there for defense.
He's been looking for ganks, they couldn't really find it. He got the counter gank, which was nice, but yeah, CLG, you know, they're just trying to play the farm game right here. They've not found any openings. They've got a counter gank, and that's it. So, yeah, they tried to gank once, but he teleported out, but certainly I feel like the gank pressure has been better from Curse. So, Voyboy really making that one happen. He's been able to escape sticky situations. However, here comes the pressure again. CLG's now picked up Lizard buff on the double lift, so they're going to really redouble the efforts to try to shut down Voy.
And the red buff being picked up by St. Vicious, so that is on the bottom side. We won't see that gank coming back in for Voyboy up top, but they do have this bottom lane push. They may try to go for Hotshot, and maybe they were letting that happen because Saint was there, but for Hotshot to push that lane means he's having too easy of a time, but they know they can't take him down on a fast, just aggressive attack. So what are you going to do? You know, you just let him farm.
They've got to, right? So you look at these minion kills, and I'm really, really impressed, though. Look, when you have a 2v1, when you look back at, like, Dignitas versus Curse, where KiwiKid had a really, really rough time in his lane, 0 minion kills in the first 2 waves, and it was a really rough situation. Here you're seeing both 1v2s really thriving pretty well. 52 on Olaf, 40 on Shogath. However, Curse, because they've got 2 members bottom, have free reign over Dragon. 9 minutes in, this is theirs completely, with no contest from CLG whatsoever.
They are trying to make up for that Dragon as they still push the top lane, probably realizing they lost the bottom. They do have a ward there. It has been pinged out. Or actually, Hotshot just placed that there, so maybe they just know the timer on Dragon. Voyboy's still getting pressed. Yeah, with the vision there, you can see how much aggression they're putting top lane. Voyboy's trying to do what he can. You see Nijaki being pulled over from mid, and they say that's enough time here. Looks like Nijaki not recently picking up his blue. He's had it for quite some time. He's going to try to get a last push on mid before getting some more items under his belt. And we see he does have 2,000 gold right now, so we'll have to see what he decides to get.
Well, yeah, certainly Athene's is a very likely pickup here. He's got that Fairy Charm already, so you kind of expect that from Orianna. Right. The mana regeneration to spam out, some extra cooldown reduction. She's really a utility mage, so you just want to see those cooldowns get lower. You want to see the abilities come out. You get good damage anyway just by being Orianna, so you don't have to rush something like a Death Cap or a Void Staff to succeed.
There you go, getting a few parts of the Athene in there, the Fiendish Codex and the Chalice as well, and a few wards to keep that aggression in mid. They know they're kind of holding Link back a little bit. It's not winning in CS, but they're keeping him from roaming, and that's really what you want to stop Anivia from doing.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't found another kill on him, though, because, I mean, it's really credit to Link, of course, by playing so well, playing safely. The interview with Hotshot yesterday, he said that Link is just our guy who stops bad things from happening. He's very safe. Right. He's really good. He's obviously really good at the game, to be fair, to be playing for Counter Logic Gaming, but he's extremely proficient, and he's really good at not letting bad things happen. And one of the bad things that could happen to you is dying, and he's not allowed that at all.
Quite an aggro bottom look here from both teams. It is going to be a 3v3 so far. If they choose to engage, double lift on the outside, just trying to throw some peacemakers in.
Well, they've gone back to the 2-on-2 now because those lanes, those turrets have died, and it's really, this is going to be an interesting matchup here because basically they've both picked up a BF sword, but you've got high rank Blood Boil Caitlyn who's got really good poke here, and Elements on Sona. He's actually been spamming a lot of points into the heal. He's actually been trying to sustain Cop for when that fight starts. Normally you see Sona, especially in 2-on-1s, max Q for the damage to poke someone down, to push down turrets. He knows they're going to be fighting heads up and wants to keep Cop sustained. He's just itemizing, or skilling I should say, around this Kog'Maw, keeping him safe, letting him farm, making that happen.
A 1,000 gold lead looks to be increased here as Counter Logic Gaming drops another turret. They have the middle one to focus on now. 300 gold is the deficit. They are up by one of those structures here 12 minutes into the game. Looks like both of these teams have really not just wanted to get into too many fights. They are still trying to find the ganks. Go back to Voyboy in the top lane. He's still holding off for himself. Giant's belt is now there, and it looks like Hotshot again going for the fast Ninja Tabi.
Yeah, he's really looking for armor here. When you look at this sort of Curse lineup, especially when you're going to consider that damage where he's here right now is going to come from basically Voyboy and St. Vicious. It's a lot of physical damage, so he wants to make sure he can mitigate that. And just like you talked about in our first match where he was playing Cho'Gath yesterday, that he's already got a bunch of health by being Cho'Gath, so he's going for resistances instead. Pressure
on the mid turret. Counter Logic going back and forth. We see the engagement coming in. It's going to be huge from St. Vicious as he dives in with the Crescent Sweep. Chaucer falls quickly. And it looks like CLG regains a little bit of ground here, but they did lose him.
Now, this is really good for Curse. They are so good at engaging fights. They've got Xin Zhao as well as Orianna and even Flash Ult Sona, as we saw just right there from Elements. They're very good at finding things to kill and going for it. Chaucer could not even use Flash, could not even safeguard, had nowhere to go, was locked up the entire way through. Very good engage from Curse.
So a 2-to-1 as they tried to even up the gold. They split it back to 1,000. Nijaki going on an aggressive entry into the jungle. So this means they have a bit of confidence on this engage here. Voyboy, they are right on top of the blue buff. It's going to be quickly smited away from Hotshot.
Yeah, he feasted it. That was a really smart play.
Oh, I guess he did.
Yeah. Afro had a ward to put down, or I should say he had the Sight Stone available, and that's the mechanic of when you're getting your blue buff stolen. Get a ward in that brush as soon as possible. Get a ward before you face check it. Go in with your tanky guys first, and then they had it high enough on health that Hotshot said, yep, we can smite it. And the thing is, Curse knew that he could steal it away, so they said, you know what, you're right, we can't outsmite. We can't outsmite Feast. I think Saint knows all about getting outsmited anyway, and I'm sorry. Saint's a really good player, but I had to make the joke. And anyway, but Hotshot picked it up.
Looks like Nijaki is going to be able to grab his own. Hotshot clearing that top lane, going into the split push mode here. He's going to see what he can do for his team. Doesn't have teleport this time, so gonna have to see how they play that. He may not be going for the bottom lane, as Baron objective is going to be up within the next few minutes here for them. But looking at the builds, looks like the AD carries are far away from doing that for now. Link here pushing up into middle. These guys still remembering to ward quite a bit. Actually defensive now for Link in mid. St. Vicious looking to activate on Chowster there, but again, they get to those wards that they have placed, keeping them alive.
That's actually really smart. Link getting those defensive wards out is super important. You saw Saint look for a gank by level 2 or 3 and burned Link's flash, which is super important to do. And so Link had to play very safely, got the wards down, made sure he was safe. And here's the CLG sort of siege game. This is really good for them. They're up 2-1 in turrets, and mid game is a huge spike for Caitlyn. Doesn't have Infinity Edge yet done. That's fine. They've got, I'm going to guess, rank 4 Blood Boil here. I'm going to try to, yeah, it's rank 3 Blood Boil actually. And he's got great attack speed. He's really good at hitting down turrets. And you can just see how much damage they put out here. And they even caught out Saint.
You know, Freak, it makes it so scary on the initiation for something like that. Nice try on the ultimate from Orianna, but it actually was not on the right person. Nijaki missing out on an ultimate there as Voyboy comes in to guard.
Alright, that's really good for CLG. Just, again, you saw a great wall by Link, forced Saint into the worst position you could have possibly been and had to run through Glacial Storm, getting shot by Caitlyn the whole way through. It was a nice little fight right there. It was a really good move to pick him out like that. And again, this mid-game surge of power when you've got plus 80 attack, or plus 70 attack damage on a Caitlyn. Actually, no, plus 90 from items, I should say. And rank 3 Blood Boil on Berserker's Greaves. Devil's really good at killing turrets.
This is going to be a really scary fight for Curse. They do not have Crescendo. They do not have Command Shockwave. They cannot go in on this one. There's some good damage right there. They have Kog'Maw on the outside. Voyboy throws down the ultimate. He's got a good amount of mana here to continue his way through. The reckless swing on to Chowster. We could get caught up here in a little bit of too much damage. He looks like he's going for Hotshot. Hotshot with a sliver of health. Ooh. The rupture to pop him up in the wall to give him a little bit extra room to run. Everybody stays alive in that one, and they grab the dragon.
That was an impressive disengage by CLG. They didn't use the Lee Sin ultimate. Anivia herself was actually split up from the team and couldn't put a Crystallize down for most of that fight, and CLG still found a way to get out. And now Jackie's got Shockwave back up. You called it at the beginning. Not an easy fight for Curse to take. They couldn't quite find it. However, they put some good damage down, and they could try to siege this turret.
Jackie taking a bit of damage, looking for the quick absolute zero burst from Aframu.
Afro thought he could find a kill right there. He flashed for the slow, tried to lock up Jackie, but unfortunately the rest of CLG wasn't quite ready for it.
These guys playing with each other back and forth as he's just backing out in the range of Nijaki. Chowster looking to stop the push in the bottom lane that St. Vicious just started to throw that way. And they have a little bit more control over the lanes now. You're going to see the lane wards coming in. See one there from CLG in the middle of the lane by Nijaki as he clears out his waves. We can see all of CLG backing right now. So we're going to check out those inventories, see what they come back to lanes with, and see if they can get this next fight under their belt.
Well, there we go. Anivia going for a Haunting Guise, which I like actually a lot as a build. With basically Leandry's Torment coming into the game, there's a really good damage item for Anivia, which is Leandry's, because the way it works is every time you apply damage, it puts on a really nice dot that deals a bunch, and if their movement speed is slowed down, then it deals double damage. And you're talking about Anivia here. She's going to impair your movement speed a little bit, and it really gives them a great damage spike. So we can itemize mana, itemize cooldown reduction, and then get a damage spike with Leandry. It's a great build.
Voyboy trying to give Hotshot some harass in the top lane as they go back and forth between their minion kills. 120 to 114, so they both fared very well in their 2v1 lanes at the beginning. Remember that swap was made by Counter Logic in the beginning and called with the blue buff give to Voyboy right off the bat. So great job by Curse there to counteract it.
That's a really good really good smart play by Curse overall. The one thing to point out, though, is though they're succeeding fairly well, just look at the item tiers here from the AD carries compared to what you're seeing on these sort of frontline bruisers here with Hotshot, GG, and Voyboy. You've got a completed Infinity Edge and 171 minion kills here on Doublelift, which is a massive score. He's got the highest minion kills in the game. I'm looking at gold, and he's at 6,300, which is also the highest in the game here. So the richest man is going to be Doublelift. He's got a lot of bling, and he's got Blood Boil, so good luck withstanding that Caitlyn damage.
Yeah, like you said, the Blood Boil, it just creates that U power curve that Caitlyn has. It becomes a much straighter line, especially in that mid-game portion. The Infinity Edge is going to hurt. We know what Caitlyn does, the 15, 16, 1700 damage crits at level 18 with that Blood Boil on. We'll have to see if they can get to that point. Both of these teams are somewhat looking for that end game, as we said before. Kog'Maw is also going to get to that point. However, the Infinity Edge not finished, being 20 CS and an assist behind. Voyboy is going to try to be able to keep them in the fight long enough for that to happen right now.
And right now, CLG is definitely in an advantageous position. I think their best time in this game is mid-game, because it's before Olaf gets even more tank stats. He's just got health right now. Doublelift has an Infinity Edge finished and Blood Boil, so he has spiked as hard as he can for this point of the game, and they're going to look for Saint here. Saint
Vicious taking a good amount of damage over at the blue. How many people are going to go and try to his aid? Wow, Nightjackie taking a feast right off the bat. Hotshot is going to be able to force him out of the fight, but Voyboy and the rest of the team has had a chance to get here, and it looks like CLG spent a little bit too long in the wrong jungle. Double kill coming in for Voyboy. He's going to man up once again. The Undertow just misses as he splits the defense, and it looks like the chase may be on for Chowster. Chowster doesn't look like he has any more wards left. He does get the Q and Resonating Strike over, and it does not look like they're going to be able to get him. Oh, the Living Artillery from Cobb coming out of nowhere. 3-0 for Curse.
That was a fully blind one, too. I think by the time he flashed, Chowster was already in the brush. So Kopp was like, yeah, I'm going to burn a 5-minute cooldown and just hope you're there. Yep, 300 gold, thank you very much. That was absolutely great play. And now Curse 5-1. And Doublelift, he's in a scary spot right now. He's got to run away from Elements. Elements puts the haste on. There's the dissonance. They're going to try to chase him through. He'll jump the wall, but he's been slowed. Can Kopp find him?
So the Caliber Net kind of gives him a little bit of room to run here. He's going to try to steal a little bit of health back.
Yeah, he's safe. Okay.
He's safe now.
All right, but that was a hugely important fight there by Curse. Very, very well played battle. And you just saw that Olaf, he didn't take damage at the beginning of the fight. They also found Link right away. He wasn't able to separate Curse with the crystallized wall. So kind of all the major tools of CLG, the high damage output Caitlyn had to start running later through that fight. The tank line kind of got picked apart pretty early, and especially because they dropped the Nivea so fast, she couldn't play the sort of that wall defense either. And now Kopp, he has got enough. He has got Infinity Edge and more. This is going to be a big power spike. I think Curse is stronger on the map here.
You know, it can take a fight like that. It can take that one instance. You know, we saw it yesterday during the CLG versus GGU game, where like GGU was right there. How long has it been since we've seen where it just completely flopped the other way for a team?
Yes.
A lot of us were like, wow. Usually you can distinctly see it happen, but to happen right there, that has definitely turned the tide of the power, and Curse can really change this one if they start to get these structures down. We're seeing only one turret for them right now, so they need to start to open up the map. A dragon fight is definitely going to be the next face-to-face for them.
That's a good, likely thing right here. Dragon, of course, up right now. CLG's waiting for it. They've got everyone on that side of the map, and so does Curse. I don't see CLG easily winning this fight, though, unless they find an amazing position here.
Well, they want the fight. Voyboy goes in to pull out the dragon himself. Hotshot trying to get a good rupture onto most of the team. That's going to be down for about 8 seconds there, so this is the back and forth, the kind of tit for tat, the lower cooldowns being used. Blue team does grab up the dragon. That's going to be Curse's. The ultimate for Voyboy goes on, tries to grab his undertow, and he's going to be chased now. It's a jump in from Saint Vicious onto Link. Beautiful zone out onto Anivia there, and they're both going to focus. It's been all about Curse or Saint and Voyboy just running at people, and Voyboy once again, as his team cleans up the dragon fight, goes by himself on a rampage here. Hotshot's going to try to come around the tail end and slow down that attack as Voyboy does a little bit more damage. Again, Saint with another initiation coming in. Hotshot under the turret going very low. Saint could find himself another kill, and he does not stop there. Yes, finally does as he takes a breath and returns to his team.
Speaking of taking a breath, Rib, seriously. 4 kills for nothing, plus the dragon. Great fight for Curse. And once again, you actually saw CLG split up. They couldn't play in the right positions. Hotshot looked for Jackie, couldn't find the damage. You had Doublelift and Afromu at the bottom half of that fight. They got kind of stuck in that brush, and so when Curse went in, suddenly CLG split up on different sides of that fight. They had nowhere to kite to. They had no tank line in front. And you saw the most amazing command shockwave from Jackie into crescendo from Elements, completely locked up Doublelift full to dead.
You know, Freak, I've really never seen what's happening to the Anivia play of Link right now. They're just counteracting it by saying, sure, throw it down. We're going to run right through and run everywhere else. So Link's just forced picking it up, waiting for that cooldown to throw it down again, but the fight is never in that storm. It's really causing them a problem.
And one of the problems with Crystallize, too, is that it was level 1 this entire time. He was maxing E, then he started maxing Q, which is pretty much standard from Anivia, but the problem was, rank 1 Crystallize doesn't block a whole heck of a lot.
Right.
It was enough to get Saint off the turret in the mid lane a while ago, but he's actually stopped maxing Q. He's now at 4 points in Q, and he's suddenly like, crap, guys, I need points in Crystallize, I need to get that wall bigger. And before we saw him on Cinder, before we saw him on Twisted Fate, and he was gaining levels, getting that utility, this time, he's... I almost want to call him under-leveled in a way, because he actually needs a lot more points in Crystallize to really be Anivia here, and CLG needs time just to gain levels.
Well, he is a level down right now compared to Nijaki in middle, a 1-0-6. Nijaki getting a lot of assists with those shields, as well as the burst damage he is able to bring out. Finish his Rabadons finally, maybe going for a Zonia next, to be very, very cautious in this game, because Hotshot's going to start getting big, Chowster's going to start getting big. They just have to figure out how to get past a Voyboy and a Saint Vicious, just absolutely 110% diving your back line every time.
Well, it's one of the things we pointed out there was Saint Vicious getting an early kill, and he became a terror against Dignitas yesterday. He did the exact same thing here, 3-1-3. He's making a lot of great moves, starting fights and not backing down. Voyboy 2-0-4, kind of same situation. So now it's Curse, again, looking to make moves. They're going to bait out the Baron. They do have an Oracles on Element, so they can keep CLG blind, really, and look to bait fights here. This is an okay thing for them to do. They can play the Baron Siege.
Voyboy going for a little bit of pressure in the bottom lane here. He is running Teleport, unlike Hotshot, so you see the pressure they're putting on him is Doublelift and Afromu. And after those few shots, he actually wasn't taking too much damage. He does have his Locket of the Iron Solari. They have 2 of those Lockets, which is going to be about that 2,000 plus buff on the whole team's health with that shield when they want to use them.
Yeah, the shields are going to give 200 and 160 respectively. Now, when you have 2 Lockets on the team, the second activation is going to be at half value.
Right.
You have about a 10-second buffer. It's like Summoner Heal. The second activation's at half value, but it's still really, really good. They're fighting like low levels of AoE damage. You're fighting Anivia, who hasn't yet got Leandries. Actually is pausing on that, and it looks like he's going for an Archangel Staff next. But you've got Anivia who's not putting out amazing, ridiculous damage just yet, and Caitlyn's going to be single target focused. So just the 2 shields there, 300 and so health, that's enough to really keep that team just kind of buffered and alive with stand Anivia, and then be like, well, our front line's got a lot of armor. Caitlyn, I dare you to try.
So, Freak, we've seen this a few times. What's the factor in going Boots of Mobility on Sona for Elements here?
It's really useful because he's going to be all over the map. He's got to get into fights. He's just kind of going to be everywhere. He's going to look for wards. He's got oracles. He's going to sweep out. And then once he sweeps, he's got to be like, run away, I'm Sona. I can get 1v1 by anyone else on that team. So he's trying to get out and then get back in. And he doesn't even have to deal damage to fulfill his role. So he can actually keep that alive in battle even and get into position for crescendos. And so just location is so important on supports, and especially Sona specifically.
And we see Hotshot now trying to bring the Bulwark into effect, mitigate that Kog'Maw damage, as well as Nijaki's front-end burst from Orianna. It's such a fight changer as well, and it happens so quickly. You just see your entire team being displaced. It's actually a skill or an ability that's really underrated in League of Legends, being displaced, being moved into a different position, because you completely changes the aspect of the fight instantly.
Exactly. That last fight we saw at Dragon really keyed off of an amazing shockwave from Jackie. He really pulled Nunu and Caitlyn into a tight little ball, which was the easiest ult I think Elements has ever had, and just and he hit it. He hit it and he locked them up. And it's something I pointed out yesterday actually, which is it's okay to wait on major cooldowns like Crescendo or Unstoppable Force. Let them get into a position where you really care about it. Don't force it. A mid-fight ult is just as good as a beginning of the fight ult. You actually increase the chance that like a flash or an escape is down. You will get them out of position. You will get a kill off of that. And Curse has done that. They've saved cooldowns, popped them in later, and found kills off of them.
We'll have to see if it's an initiation or reinitiation of how this Baron goes down. 9-1 in favor of Curse. The kill sheet says a lot more than definitely what's been happening throughout the 28 minutes of this game. A 5,000 gold lead in favor of Curse, though. Voyboy doing huge things for his team. There's a lot of people that are. A 2-0-4 Cop, 2-0-4 Voyboy, 1-0-6 on Nijaki, and Elements is 1-0-7. So these guys not only have been getting kills and assists, but they're not off the map. They've been staying in lanes and soaking up experience the whole time.
And what I really think is funny as well is how in CLG's head Curse is. I watched their vision. They were waiting around for Dragon for about 20 seconds. They had 0 wards on Baron. CLG could have snuck Baron, and Curse would have had no... Like, they had literally 0 vision on the top half of the map and said, they won't go for it. They're too afraid. And they were. Hotshot was waiting for, like, a ward over a wall for 30 seconds, and one never came. But, like, and Curse is actually starting to cut corners here. They're actually giving up on wards a little bit, which does open up room for CLG to make moves.
Well, Freak, we did say that Curse remembers CLG taking them out at the PAX Prime North American Regionals. Curse wants that game back. A dive in on Link there. He is forced back. A beautiful crescent sweep. Voyboy focuses on the Rebirth Egg as it's now on to Chouster. Chouster's flashing out there. Lockets of the Iron Solari being used, so that's the rest of the mitigation they have. Summoner Spell coming out from Double Lift rather as he tries to get away. Again, the Living Artillery trying to hit. Cop would love that blue buff, but it looks like Double Lift gets out safely. It's only going to be Link that they had the focus on. Curse is going to be in pursuit on this one, however.
Yeah, Saint is on the hunt. There we go. That's a really good trap that shows him the location of both him and Voyboy. And so Double Lift's going to be safe here. Life stealing off of Golems. Fearless for him, but a really, really good fight. They picked up a couple of points here. Saint, who's going to find Double Lift again.
The Rupture coming in. I don't think he expects to see him, and as he's in the air, he gets ultra dunked by a headshot from Double Lift. Nijaki gets out with the help of Elements.
That was really, really good, and you saw... Honestly, great plays from Double Lift because the assassination comp, they looked for Double Lift. They tried to find him over and over and over again. Everyone chased him down, which actually allowed everyone else from CLG to get out. And now they're sneaking Baron. And once again, there's no vision from Curse. They cut that corner.
Hotshot taking quite a bit of damage. Chouster coming in. Now they're going to definitely be able to micro the damage in and out here, Freak. It looks like a pretty clean Baron from them. Oh, Voyboy coming up from the left side. He says, hey guys, you want to party? And he comes in taking out Cho'Gath. Hotshot's now on the ground in the Baron den. Chouster forced out. Voyboy stopping that one alone.
Thing is, they could have gone back in. Like, they had a time to go back in because Curse had left, again, had no vision. There's just like these small chances that CLG has that, again, they don't know that it's blind, but Curse is blind here a lot.
Yeah. They are. For as much up as they are, I think they're getting a little complacent. They did go for Dragon, like you said, but no vision on Baron. CLG just kind of didn't do that off a whim of thinking, you know, we have vision, they'll just come up and get us. So with the way Curse is winning, they're still leaving chances for CLG to come back here.
They are leaving chances, but I really have to just go back to say how amazing they are playing, though. Voy,
for sure,
out of his mind, 3-0-5, certainly a really big terror here. And we've seen time and again, the engages from Saint, Jackie, and Voy have basically found Link over and over again. The poor guy is 0-3-0. I mean, Link's a very, very good player. You saw him dominant in his first 2 matches of the day yesterday, but here he's been found in every fight, which is saying always gets him, knocks him back, and then they find him early on.
Well, it's all going to come back to us because all we've been saying is Link, Link, Link. He's been playing really good. He's consistent, so they're probably like, all right, let's just focus the guy. Just go after him and we'll make it not a true statement.
Yeah, part of that is Anivia, of course. It's a very unsafe champion.
True.
You know, long range certainly, but no innate escape tools, slow on movement speed in general. Yeah, he's got Seraph's Embrace there. He's got some extra durability, but you can see he is the most deaths on his team, tied with Nunu here. The Freljordians apparently the ones that these guys are targeting.
They're actually going for a few of the different buys here. We really haven't seen the Mikhail's Crucible as well. A lot of support coming out for Alpharmood there. They need to get themselves out of these lockup situations that, like you said, Voyboy, Saint, and Nijaki are creating ever so often.
But the thing to point out as well, right, is at the very beginning we said this was about Double Lift. It was about Double Lift's damage output and what he can find here. And what he's got really is 3 big-ticket items, and you can almost say it's a 4th big-ticket item because he's got Blood Boil as well. So we talked about the fact that Kog'Maw has great damage, that Cop's going to be a huge menace, and that's true. But you look at the gold, and you've still got a 1,300 gold lead for Double Lift. He's still a super farmed Caitlyn with Blood Boil. He is still a scary man, and we finally got Leandries here for Link, So if Link and Doublelift don't die, they've got great damage.
Curse is breathing down the neck of CLG here. The teleport in from Voyboy could come if they have some trouble in this fight, and that's why they want to fight so bad. They saw Caitlyn bottom. They know that Doublelift cannot get there in time, and they are trying to pressure everything right now, even with such a big lead.
And what's funny here is you just saw one of those opportunities you see from Anivia. Anivia's a champion that just breeds comebacks. Oh, Hotshot's got caught!
Once again, still staying in the jungle, waiting for that moment. Hotshot only wanted a ward, man. Just wanted a ward.
And that is just rough. Curse has finally kind of tightened up that ward situation. They've got vision everywhere. They've kind of caught out Jackie and Saint here. You can see they're waiting around to the brush saying, "Caught, elements, stay with us." Okay, they're safe. Great, let's keep on moving.
A super mobile team. Orianna brings so much utility to a team late game. That speed up for your entire team and a minion wave that passes through that.
Yeah.
The ultimate command shockwave, like we said, displacement, a really underrated ability in League of Legends. Not used very often. Scar tried to get it with, Gragas yesterday, and we saw it used to pretty damn good effectiveness.
Oh, Chowster.
It was just too strong. Chowster getting caught out there. No help from Link on the wall, and Voyboy still pushing bottom lane.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do here. Voy, again, he's too big to 1 versus 1. He's going to pull a lot of attention to himself. Kind of that hotshot role in a way. But that 4-on-4 from Curse is so good. Xin Zhao to invade and everything else. And now this is pretty much their Baron. We'll see if CLG can stop.
And this is a 4-person Baron they're going to be able to take. Kopp able to shred it now with that fully leveled Bio Arcane barrage on his W. All the wards coming over. They may get a stop here. Oh, he can't even get it with the smite, or the feast rather, from Hotshot GG. They should be able to take him out. Good shots and focus in the Baron Den.
That was a great smite from Saint. It was mid-feast animation. He had a 1/10 of a second left. It was so close for Hotshot. Couldn't quite find it. Actually, the fact that it's on cooldown says, oh no, he missed it and used it on a champion. Hotshot, yeah, he was again very, very close on feast hitting. It's a half-second animation, so he started it early. It got down to 1,000 health. Really great smite from Saint made that one happen.
Oh boy, just going wild on this dragon right now with particle spam. And, I think Saint heard you earlier. He was like, all right, you're going to attack me on the Baron smites. I'm going to get the next one for you.
He did a very good job of it. Really good props to Saint. It is hard to outsmite a Cho'Gath, and he did it, so that was a great play. And you're just kind of seeing Curse grow. We haven't kind of recapped the lead in a while, but it's 14-2 in kills. It's 4-3 in turrets. 35 minutes in, Curse hasn't let up a death in almost forever, basically. It was 2-1 at one point for CLG, and now it's 14-2. Curse flipped the game on the head since minute 10, and they've not let up at all.
Yeah, it was 9-1 for quite some time, and like you said, the only kill to come in is one for both, or a few for both, and it's still Curse just holding a very good lead right now. Still pressuring, being a very aggressive team throughout this game. They're not saying, hey, we're ahead, let's take it slow. They're saying, hey, we're ahead, let's put the pedal to the floor and keep it going.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're doing it safely, which is the funny thing, right?
Yeah.
They're strangling CLG, but they're not taking these crazy risks. Okay, sure, I harped them for not putting wards down for a little while, but it ended up paying off. They were okay there, but they're not like crazily diving turrets. They're starting fights, but they're able to disengage in time if it gets a little bit hairy.
Saint putting himself in the front there. Shield on, and looks like they're just going to go ahead and walk through very calmly. Voyboy hanging out down bottom, still doing damage to the turret, actually tanking it right now. You can see how confident he is with his play. He says, guys, don't worry about it. I'm in the bottom. We can definitely go around the horn here and just give them so much trouble. Having Hotshot out of the fight is a huge factor. Saint can dive and not have peel so much easier with Hotshot being in bottom lane.
Okay, well, CLG, of course, has to come back over. They put some damage on the Void. This could be pretty painful, actually. And he, of course, just walks out. The thing is, they don't actually have like amazing crowd control without Anivia, and so like Hotshot can land a Rupture and Chowster can try to follow up, but Aftermove wasn't in range for Ice Blast, and of course Kate, not a frozen mallet or anything there, so the Void is able to walk away from these fights really often, and he's back. He's back. He has Spell Vamp because of his W. He lifesteals back up, and he's just safe again.
Well, Baron buff keeping him so tanky, and if everything went the worst possible scenario that could have happened, all he does is alt teleport, and he's out of there. Nothing's going to be able to stop him. So, he did it in the top lane. How much do they want to really factor into pressuring that bottom lane? It's only going to be Hotshot for now. Still going after the turret, back and forth. Look how much dominance Curse just has over this game. CLG can't even try to formulate a plan right now to make this stop. And in a complete 1v1, Voyboy takes down a turret by himself. Looks like he's going to get a kill as well. This is deja vu right here for Voyboy. And it looks like they finally figure out that they need to just spread it, kite it, and they finally get the kill.
All right, they found that one here, but the problem is Curse has spent so much time top lane. They're going to get another turret here. Now 8-3, 2 inhibitors open. What can CLG do?
They are going to be able to grab this one, Freak. The wall is down. It's going to be the charge coming in from Xin, just jumping back over onto Chowster, and the burst coming from them is just so much greater than what CLG can put back. The damage trade is not looking good right now. 15-3, 1 kill picked up for each side on that engagement. 8-3 in turrets is Curse. Complete domination of the map right now.
Now, Curse, everyone on that team has at least 1,300 gold, between 1,300 and 2,000. I'm expecting them to go back after clearing this wave out and just kind of going for push version 2 right here. CLG is going to be stuck in their base. Dragon not coming up soon. Baron not coming up soon. Just times out on the Curse members, so that's going to be a 3-minute respawn here. And it's just time for Curse to look for that next inhibitor. They've got the top one. The bottom one's open. In the middle, there's only one turret between them and another structure going down. And again, there's no way to stop the big damage threats. Xin Zhao and Olaf are hugely menacing, but hugely tanky. Kog'Maw, who's going to fight him? We saw Chowster look for him a second ago and said, oh, that's a bunch of damage. I'm going to go ahead and flash away, kick you backwards, and disengage here. I don't see how CLG can stop any of those All-Star members of Curse right now.
You have a 400 CS, plus 100 more than anybody in the game right now, double lift. So if anybody's going to really make the impact shots, the impact plays, it's going to be him. And we're watching for Voyboy and Saint to completely shut that down. Really, I feel bad for Voyboy right now because he is going to get ultra focused in the next fight.
He is, and double lift, I think he's going Hurricane next. I'm thinking of the recurve bow item. It's not going to be Wit's End. Hurricane's pretty likely, honestly, or it could be sort of the Divine, but honestly, this is actually pretty important for him because the thing is, he's going to fight a bunch of guys up in the front lines. Like, Xin Zhao and Olaf will both be in his face, and heck, why not shoot them both?
Yeah, it's not going to be a complete quick burst in damage of whatever he buys. It's a complete burst in his damage over time, that DPS. So he's going to have to buy it and use it correctly with the mechanics to really not just plateau in damage on his next buy. 40 minutes into the game, we are 15 seconds away from that mark. A 14,000 gold lead, the biggest we've seen here in our 2 days of the LCS, and who would have thought it would come between Curse and Counter Logic Gaming. They are right on the front door here. You can just see the dominance Voyboy is trying to put on here, picking up some cupcakes for himself. Why not? Everybody likes to fight on a full stomach. We said cookies make you pro. Cupcakes for Voyboy. They are right on top of the inhibitor right now. You can see Comp throwing out the Voidoos as well. The Anivia ult is down, but it's all in defensive mode. They're not able to aggress on this one. A Rupture behind everybody, just kind of splitting the D right now.
The damage from Cop.
They are just able to poke it out.
Okay, so Anivia's got the Glacial Storm up. Link has the blue elixir on. Saint's going to take... Nope, he's going to actually dodge that one out. This inhibitor, you can see CLG are backing off. They're going to give this one up as well. And there's minions for the middle turret now as well.
And Voyboy turning over with his team, kind of just leading the charge right here. He's saying, all right, let's move here. Let's take mid. Calm, cool, and collected. Cursed turns CLG's base into shambles right now.
And there's the initiation. They found the Crescendo.
Crescendo is in, and it's going to be Link going down first. They drop the egg instantly. Is Caitlyn anywhere? Double lift. Can he find shots to get in? He's not even in the fight right now, and it looks like he finally gets himself there. Elements will take some damage, but they dive back in. Saint again for another reinitiation all game long for him. Gets the last attack onto double lift. After move forced back to the fountain, and it is going to be a 4-0 there as the Nexus turrets start to go down. Curse finds the win they wanted over Counter Logic.
Congratulations to them. A 41.5-minute game, 19-3, and Curse is 2-0 in LCS.
That is going to be an amazing